Welcome to the six weeks first grade teachers. Let's get going. Oh my, looks like we've made it. You've done such a great job this year. Just give yourselves a round of applause. So let's take a look at that six weeks and see what's going on. In that six weeks, we are going to be doing some research. We're going to determine, locate, and explore the full range of relevant sources addressing a research question. And then they're going to record the information they gather. So that's really going to be your lead standard, but at the same time, we really need to still be reading and letting them be independently reading because the process of their independent reading and their just right books is so important. And the level that we want them to be at is a level I and really and truly a level J to go into the summer in a strong way. The genres that we'll be looking at are the main one that we'll be looking at this 6 weeks is poetry, but then you will also have all the research standards that need to be addressed in first grade. Our conventions are vowel digraphs and diphthongs and R controlled vowels and the sight words that they need to secure before they leave you. So, looking at this, we still want them reading independently for 20 minutes or greater with comprehension and fluency. We need them doing their weekly responses, retelling, describing a favorite character. The thing that was added this 6 weeks is apply reading strategies to gather information on a class topic. And once again, looking at their independent reading level. As you end this year, you'll want to use these specific tools, like how are you growing as a reader? Really having kids look at what do they start with at the beginning and where are they at now. Also using that rubric for independent reading, see how they're doing and letting them give themselves a grade, becoming so independent. And then using your tic-tac-toe and getting a grade for that using that rubric. Just remember, there's just no substitute for eyes on text reading. That's how we're going to get them there, and they must be reading 60 minutes a day, off and on, to really grow a full level. So let's spend this 6 weeks just letting them read. And as you plan, I want you to think about the question, who's doing the work? We want the students doing the work. So as you facilitate, walk around, getting them just in books and having them be excited about where they're going. Dawn has the curriculum preview for social studies. You'll want to view that because Dawn has taken and made a list for you of all the books that are you could use with independent reading and small group reading to teach social studies. So take a look at that curriculum preview and putting those in their book boxes. You need to really continue meeting with literacy groups to explicitly teach skills and strategies. You need to be meeting with those struggling readers every day, and then on-level readers 2 or 3 times a week, and above level maybe once a week. And like I said, view your social study curriculum preview to see the books listed from reading A to Z. And as you work with small groups, monitor students who are reading independently, reinforce expectations, and hold them accountable. That whole work. So let's take a look at word work. Weeks 34, 33, and 34, as you look at your English word study, is R-controlled words. You'll be looking week 33 at exploration of the AR spelling pattern, and then week 34 of the OR spelling pattern. And here are the word work and the spelling bee reminders that you are going to be doing. Then 35 through 36, you're going to be review and secure all those first grade sight words and spelling concepts. So going back, looking at all of the spelling concepts that you've had for the year, what kids really need more time working, securing those patterns and those rules and those sight words. So let's take a look at your phonics work. You're going to be looking at vowel diphthongs, including OY, OI, OU, and OW. And then vowels and diagrams with diphthongs, and those 100 high-frequency words from our list. And we're expected to read at least 100 words from the district first grade reading list in isolation and in context. So let's take a look at vocabulary, because you've seen this document all year long, building vocabulary through literature. But what I did is I took a little piece out of it because I know that sometimes you just really don't have time to look at these great documents. Students learn vocabulary best when they are immersed in the words, make connection between words as they relate to specific experience and to each other, Personalized word definition lines. Use multiple sources of information to find the words. Have a voice in the choice of words they learned. And so this 6 weeks, I know it's first grade, but you might have students pick one or two vocabulary words from their independent reading that they don't know and they really want to learn. So helping them to gather that independence. So letting them choose some of their own vocabulary words this 6 weeks. And it's very important to know strategies for figuring out unknown words. We want them as strategic readers, not to look at us when they don't know the word. Is how do you figure out what to do when you don't know a word? And then have them engage in word play. Um, have them do a lot of activities and games, create word banks, and then design questions and writing tasks that use those words. So they are using them in their reading and their writing. Our academic vocabulary for this 6 weeks, you can see them right here. Adjectives, exclamation mark, expression, grammar, and relevant are your academic vocabulary for this 6 weeks. The genre that you're really going to focus on is poetry this 6 weeks. You want to continue to recite and examine a poem a week. You might even want to have a poetry week where you have a poetry celebration. And if you haven't had the opportunity to use your kids' poems, teaching first graders to love writing poetry, you might want to get that book out and really do some more things with that, because it's just such a great, Reggie Routman did such a great job with that. But I love the different books that are available about how poets have used their research skills to create poems. Eric Carle, and these are some just great ideas. Your librarian will have so much more to do with them. The reason I think poetry, April is Poetry Month, National Poetry Month, and this is the link to the website to go out to the National Poetry Month website. Here's some different ways to celebrate National Poetry Month. Just some great, just different things. I know it's first grade, but just look at some of the different things that you can do with, you know, I love them getting ready for Mother's Day by buying a card featuring a line of poetry, so they could use something and talk about how poetry really does. And then celebrate National Poem in Your Pocket Day on April the 27th. The idea is simple. Select a poem you love, carry it with you, and then share it with your coworkers, family, and friends. So it might be a fun thing to have them select a poem that they really loved all year long, and then maybe make something to take home to their moms to share their poem with them. So that's a great idea for first graders. They'd love that. Some of the focus lessons that your unit overview has on is using your movie or documentary. What is this? Choosing once again, is this book about? Could it be more of a movie or is it more of a documentary? Kind of that between fiction and nonfiction. And then using 3 kinds of thinking to discuss text with you, showing kids that when you're looking at a story, what are the ways the author has used 3 ways of thinking, and doing that with them. Then your poster for your grade level, use the Everything Says Something versus review the kinds of decisions writers make and how each one helps make the message clearer. So, once again, really honing in on those writing skills. Also, comprehension toolkit lessons. I think this is so important. If you haven't, first grade, it's hard to get all those lessons in, but this might be a time that you really go look at those. Organize your thinking, and that is in Determined Importance book, lesson 18. You would organize your thinking as you read, because going into summer, we really need to send them off with some really great strategies. So this is a great lesson. This is the lesson guide, and I will attach the lesson guide in your Canvas so you'll see it. But what it's meant to do, you are to use this with any piece of nonfiction. And then you're going to see 18b says to use this with fiction. Use these same skills as you do fiction. Just rinse and repeat. Determining importance, organizing your thinking. And then summarize information, lesson 19, and then do it with fiction. And then lesson 20, read to get the big idea, nonfiction, use it with fiction. And then lesson 21, explore and investigate. Use that with nonfiction, and then lesson 22, share your learning. So I will attach those guide lessons and you take a look, and what you need to do is find some, if you look in your comprehension toolkit, there's all kinds of nonfiction that you can do, and just really honing in and giving these kids some really strong skills as they leave us for the summer. Now it is all about the research this 6 weeks, and I know you get so excited. Dawn and I were talking about this yesterday. We really want to encourage you to incorporate social studies and ELAR this time with their service learning project. So you know that your librarian is your best friend when it comes to research. So let's take a look at what we use in Birdville. We use the Big Six, and so the librarians know a lot about this, and you might want to refine this for first grade, and you might do the Big Three instead of the Big Six. But this is some great way just to introduce them to what you're doing. So as you define that, you can take that class project, you're going to be looking at what is it that we want to do. So here's the questions you might ask when you're thinking about your service project. What's some attributes of they are genuine as a community need, it's a community partnership, it takes preparation, there's a structured reflection, it's clear connection to the curriculum, and students really have a voice in it. And then the questions they need to ask when you're thinking about your service: what needs or opportunities exist, what are some solutions, what resources are available, and then you decide as a class on your project. I know at Northridge Elementary last year, Dawn had them do taking their crayons and doing some, recycling of that. So there's some great, we've given you some different links to different ideas, but we've been more than happy to help you with coming up with what are some needs in the community that we can really help them with. Are there some daycares that need books? Could we get some books to take to the daycares that kids are going to be at this summer? Be glad to help you with anything like that. Just so, what are the needs of the community? Here's some other, this is another link to some more community service ideas. A book drive can also be organized to collect new and excellent condition used books for children who do not have access to books. You could send them to a homeless shelter here in the community, or like I said, we could find some daycares. We could take a look and find you some daycares that they need some really great books for kids to read over the summer. So there's some great ideas there. Here's some other ideas. This is Read Write App. This is also 55 and Merrill service learning projects for you to look at. But I'm sure that you have your own ideas about that. And then the Scholastic Service Guide is one that is about Clifford that shows all different kinds of things with that. So once you're doing this with them, what we want to do is you want to use your reading skills and your writing skills. You want every child, I would love for every child to write at least something about their service project, pulling in that writing about what information did you gather, what was the problem, how did you come about this, with what you were going to do. They can do, like you see here, these guys have done some posters, but really writing about it, and then have a class book where every student adds a page written about the project, going through that whole process. Then maybe do a class video about the project, and then, or even write a poem. And then once you have finished your learning project, service project, Dawn and I would love to come out and highlight what you've done. So, just really using all those. This is one that Hardeman did last year, and they did it about science. And so they did some things where this is like out on their board, and this is actually the kids doing this about the animals that lived long ago. So within that, then you want to use your writing for them to write expositorily about that, and then they could write a story about beginning melon and about different things as well. Just want them to write a lot this 6 weeks. And remember that your conventions are your exclamation marks and your adjectives. Those are important. So as you look at how do you teach that, when you look at your standards for your grammar, it says use and understand. Understand and use the following parts of speech in the context of reading, writing, and speaking. So using mentor text is so important to show how the authors use it. So there's some great books out there about adjectives. Um, so I've just listed for you this one, and then you could talk about the exclamation mark and what it does, and you show other authors that have used that as well. Here are the skills you want to secure. As they are writing and they're writing about their project and they're doing their stories, as you are spending that time in writing workshop, you want to make sure that they are forming their letters correctly. That is a kindergarten skill. There must be space between their words. Another kindergarten skill, use lower letters, case letters, except for capitalizing the first word of a sentence in familiar names, capitalizing pronoun I and familiar names. Express ideas in complete sentences. Replace overused connecting words with punctuation, like and. Use punctuation and capitalization for simple sentences. And then spell K1 sight words and concept in a snap. So really listening and looking at, maybe just really having kids look at their writing and seeing that they're doing that. Some of the focus lessons that you'll want to do is you'll want to continue to reinforce and monitor stop pair, and for actually spelling all those, and you're going to see a unit overview on page 7 for some help for that. Here's some of this. If you were here's adjectives. That if you were an adjective, this is a video, and then this is that book that I talked to you about. And then once again, there's some more lessons on teaching adjectives. So as students work through their class research project, design focus lessons to address this conception you observe or to extend their understanding of writing skills or processes. So, work through that, that they're putting down the things that you are doing with making books and things like that. Another thing is, you've already seen it, is that maybe you want to use some type of digital learning to show about their video, about their service project, and you have some of the best folks out there with their digital learning specialists about, really highlighting what kids are doing. This is really important that we show kids that it's, being responsible civic, a responsible citizen is so important in helping your community. So use your digital learning people to really highlight what your kids are going to do this 6 weeks. So as we stop and we end this, I want to just encourage you to get your kids where they're going.